Melanie Huot and Mikaela Garcia presents the asch conformity experiments, a study. This is Solomon Elliott Asch. His series of experiments on conformity and how people respond when there is a majority opinion is what we will be focusing on. Swarthmore College, Pennsylvania, 1951. Asch was not the first one to conduct studies on this topic. Other psychologists such as Edward L. Thorndike were able to sway opinions to match those of the majority or the experts. However, his experiments had a flaw. They weren't sure if the change occurred purely due to social pressure or if they knew it was an experiment. And due to demand characteristics or the Hawthorne effect, where subjects act in an unnatural way to either disrupt or in their mind assist researchers, up comes Solomon Asch, who took up the mantle and tried to solve this predicament. The series of his experiments started to study how individuals would respond towards a majority opinion. Fun fact, in his childhood, Asch would often succumb to social pressure, leading him to develop an interest in conformity, which ended up as this experiment. This experiment involved 127 students from Swarthmore College, ranging from the ages 17 to 25, who believed that they were participating in a vision test. Asch divided the participants into groups of 6 to 8. The majority of the group were actors or Confederates, while the last one was the real test subject. The test used was something akin to a matching game. Each participant was given a card along with a line drawn on it. Then they were shown that line along with two other lines of clearly different lengths labeled A, B, and C. Going down the line, each participant was asked to say which line matched the length of the original line. In some rounds of the experiment, the Confederates were told explicitly that in some rounds to pick the incorrect choice, and in others, the correct choice. The incorrect rounds were always picked to be the most obvious, as in it was very clear to see that the others were wrong. The order was always set up so that the innocent or uninformed participant went last. Here goes the experiment, in a nutshell.
It's C.
It's B. Why are they all getting it wrong? Do they know something I don't? After the experiment, the real participants were interviewed. Over the course of 12 trials, about 75% of participants had conformed at least once, with 1/3 of participants incorrectly choosing with the rest of the group. It's important to mention that the number of Confederates present impacted the level of conformity in the experiment. However, it was only to a certain extent that the effect of the number of Confederates were substantial enough to influence the individual. It rose significantly with 3 or more Confederates as opposed to 1 with a conformity rate of 32%. Anything above 3 Confederates had no meaningful effect on the individual in the critical trials. Once the group pressure is established, its peak is reached. Consequently, the conformity rate dropped to about 29% when 50 Confederates were used. This can possibly be a result of the individual becoming suspicious of the experiment and the Confederates involved. The participants reported that they were aware of the group being incorrect, but feared being the odd man out and becoming excluded from the group. Like this guy, Dave. You don't want to be like Dave. Those who did not conform with the majority were purportedly self-confident in their own judgment to not go along with the rest of the group. When one of the Confederates were instructed to give all correct answers, the percentage of conformity dropped by 5%, showcasing that the presence of another supporting their belief will make them less likely to go along. Why do we often ignore individuality to fit in with the rest? Even with the answer being apparent, it highlighted conflicting answers of a large group leading to the disregardment of your own knowledge to risk not being the odd one out, as most commonly seen in a group setting. People are often likely to change their answers and opinions on a subject to fit into the group standard, even if incorrect, despite their first initial thoughts and beliefs on the topic. This is especially prominent in a group of friends, where people may follow the popular opinion. It brings into question about going against our values to maintain anonymity with the rest of the group. There are 3 types of conformity: internalization, identification, and compliance. Today, however, I will introduce the 2 types of conformity: compliance and internalization. For compliance, changes in behavior is often associated with social acceptance and approval from peers, while still maintaining their private beliefs. Whereas internalization is change in behavior by accepting the belief because it aligns with their own personal view. These can be used to explain how people conform and change their attitude in regards to group pressure. It can be our tendency to feel insecure in these situations and can be linked with normative social influence, compliance because of our need to feel liked by those that surround us and to avoid being different or rejected. And that's a wrap. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.